boss, killing integrity. Pay attention, pay attention. All I want is for you to see what you're missing.
Okay, so the chorus is really just the one line, huh?
It's pretty simple, I think.
Yeah. How are you feeling about it as a group?
I thought it, like, I think the song personally gets better as it goes on, because I think it really, you know, sends the message home the longer you listen to it.
It's more like a jam, I think, not like so much like the lyrics. I know like we like had a lot of like time, like we were just playing. Because like we also play piano, and we have our Cameron, our bass player, is not here. But.
Good melody. Did you guys do these things collectively, melody and lyric collectively, or?
Well, lyrics are all mine.
I just kind of went in the studio and was just making up a melody by just singing along with the piano and the drums. I just kind of made it up on the spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the melody, a couple of thoughts on the lyric, guys, and that would be that this is a hard one in a way. So I guess my main point would be to say I think it could use more clarity. Like I can look through it. I'm looking at it while it was going by, and I looked at it earlier. I'm not exactly sure what it's about, and if it's kind of a story. I'd try to keep the story smaller. If it's between two people, for instance, let me give you a really good example. Like when you have a line that says "We live in redundancy," there's a friend of mine wrote a book about songwriting that was interesting because he talked about this theory of writing the man on the mountain lyric, and what he meant was those kind of lyrics where someone writes about we, as if we're all in this doing this, you know. Almost gets a little bit preachy. It's almost like his analogy was there's a man on the mountain looking down going, you guys are all damned, or we're all, you know, whatever it is, we are all in this thing. Usually those kind of songs are way better written really small. Like, I don't know how everybody reads the Bible here today, but, you know, parables in the Bible are actually good lyric writing things to look at, because they're small stories with a big meaning. So even when you said something about like we live in redundancy, if you showed it, you know, through a small story, maybe two people, or what does one person do that's redundant? What is somebody actually doing that illustrates your big point? And then the big point gets easier to take, you know. There are exceptions. There are writers like Dylan, Bono, probably, who write these big, almost preachy ideas once in a while, but the difference is you kind of will make that journey with them because you're familiar with them and you might trust them. Like Dylan, you know, you'll kind of lean in trying to figure out what he's trying to say, whereas the rest of us usually have to be kind of clear. So I would just urge you, not just your song, but I mean everybody looking at big ideas, go ahead and think big idea, but think small way to illustrate it. It's always good. Really good. And again, detail. I knew this would be across the board a bit today, but put in details, you know, color, detail. I'll give you the best example I can for this because it's a pretty big point for everybody that writes lyrics in the room. And that is everybody familiar with what a stager does in real estate?
No. They like the house before people start walking.
Yeah. So one of my daughters is an interior designer stager here in Nashville. So if your house were for sale, she's going to come in, look at it, and if it's full of stuff, like too much detail, too much color, too many photos, all that kind of stuff, right? She's going to go in and take a lot of that out, keep enough of it in there so that a buyer can come in and get a good feel for your house, see it, you know? Same thing for lyric writing. It's a great way to think of your lyric. Is there enough in your lyric that's real and has imagery in it and has details so a listener can actually see what you want them to see this story. How do we live in redundancy, for instance? So you show them. And the stager idea is, you put too much detail in there, that's like having a house full of junk that somebody comes in and goes, I can't imagine living here because it's all your stuff. So same with your lyric. Too much is bad, too little is tough because someone has to totally imagine it. Somewhere in between is the art form as a lyricist. Show it, put some detail in, keep it small if you can. But again, parables, the thing I love about them is they're always given a big idea. You hear a little story and you go, okay, I get it. Don't kill my neighbor. That's the big idea I should have gone away with. But if I just tell you that, that's the man on the mountain writing. That's like, hey, you need to do this, None of us respond very well to that, unless it's coming from Bob Dylan or somebody, I suppose. But yeah, so a point for you. Long-winded point at that. Okay, next one.
The next song I wrote, it was about my love for a TV show I started watching a lot this semester. It's called Dragonball. And my point with this song was to it's called Gotta Watch Dragonball. And I just kind of wanted to encourage people to want to watch Dragonball through this kind of upbeat Dragonball jam.
All right. Could have gone longer there, but that's all right. I'm reading the lyric. This is really good, man. This is kind of like if you were called to write the theme song to this show. You're probably in the ballpark, It reminds me of kids' cartoons where they kind of explain the story to you a little bit, not completely, and that's what you did. So good. I mean, I'm reading through it more. I don't know the show. But I'm imagining characters,
Yeah.
Bulma, Hermit, Rashi. You're telling the story, and you're making it pretty easy. It was pretty simple, melodically. This is one of those, it's a really interesting thing to me because it's not a pop song. It's a song that would probably serve a purpose. If you were called to write, as I said, something for a commercial, something for a TV show, something for a movie, you have one of two jobs. I've written stuff for movies before. It's hard. It's harder than like a kid show or a cartoon, for instance, because they don't want you to explain the story. In a movie, they want something that gives off the same kind of vibe as a scene, but doesn't explain it. Opposite for cartoons, some shows, especially like network TV, probably in the 70s, for instance, those songs, all the shows had songs and they kind of did what you just did, back to like Gilligan's Island or something. They explain to you what's going on in the show you're going to see. So again, you did a good job.
Thank you. All right, the next song I also wrote the lyrics to, and like the rest of the group kind of helped me get the harmonic aspects of it out and everything else. And I just kind of wanted to write a comedic rock song.
Okay.
I wanted to write a rock song, and so I wrote it about kind of like, as a child, you weren't always able to eat your dessert whenever you wanted, but like, it's basically, growing up, and now you can eat your dessert whenever you want. And I wrote it about my favorite ice cream, Moosetracks.
I like Moosetracks too, and I eat it whenever I want it. Good.
So good.
It's relatable. Good.
About the frozen tree, so I had to devour the
Okay, I love that. Yeah, and a sax solo. Well, that's fun. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. Okay, I have one thing to say about it, maybe. I loved it. I would move that chorus up earlier.
Yeah.
Because it's really fun. I'm waiting to hear it, waiting to hear it. It took too long to get to that payoff. But it's good when it did, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just move it up. Something a lot of what we're going to talk about today is, songwriting tips too, not just, I don't think I'm here to just sort of interrogate you or critique a song as much as go, here's some things you might think about in your songwriting. So if you have a song like this, if this were mine, I'm going to probably come to the realization that it took too long to get to my big idea, the Moosetracks. And rather than go, okay, I need to write a different song or something, I might, whether you did it in Pro Tools or Logic or something, even take the track and cut and paste it. Just take that chorus, take it all and move it up somewhere. Sit back and play it.
Mm-hmm.
You can do this cut and paste idea endlessly, lyrically, melodically, production-wise. Believe me, from being around a lot of records, a lot of them are made looking for happy accidents. You go, okay, it's written this way, but what if we do this? Or what if we went like this? And just keep moving it around until you get a result that's like, wow. And you can do it with this. I think it's as simple as moving that chorus up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in an age now, I realize, again, you guys are not necessarily trying to write commercial hit songs for a marketplace, but we are in an age right now that choruses are coming quicker than ever. Usually way earlier than a minute into a song, that chorus is going to hit. And whether you like that kind of thing or not, really the reason for it is listeners' attention spans. This started with as soon as you had a car that you could change the channels with your thumb, or now you can ask Siri to play a track or something. Nobody's going to sit through something they don't really want to sit through. So across the board, you almost want to go, let's get the chorus up there early enough so that somebody goes, oh yeah, I got it. Here's what we're talking about. But again, really fun. It reminds me of, I'm showing my age. Anybody ever hear a band named Devo?
Yeah.
Okay, Devo would do things like this. They were really straight ahead and very stiff and funny. So yeah, good one.
Thank you.
This is Dark.